A murder trial that gripped Italy, allegations of sex games and ferocious violence that shocked a nation.
A young British student, Meredith Kercher, was the victim. Today, 2 of the 3 people convicted and jailed for her murder heard the result of their appeal.
The American student Amanda Knox and her former boyfriend Raffaele Sollecito had both insisted they were innocent. Today, the judge said the pair could walk free from court.
In the name of the Italian people, the Court of Appeal of Perugia, Amanda Knox and Raffaele Esposito are being freed.
They've spent 1,400 days in jail. The verdict brought nearly 4 years of emotions to the surface.
Very warm welcome to BBC World News. My name is Mike Embley.
And I'm Jamie Robertson. Also in this programme, when galaxies collide, the first stunning images from the world's most powerful telescope.
And against all odds, boxing is making a comeback in South Africa's townships, thanks to a 70-year-old grandmother. Hello, an Italian appeals court has thrown out the American student Amanda Knox's conviction for the murder of her British flatmate, Meredith Kercher.
And also acquitted was Amanda Knox's former boyfriend, Raffaele Sollecito. Judges ruled in favour of the defence's case that there were nearly 50 errors in the forensic evidence against them.
The original murder trial 4 years ago heard details of sexual advances rejected by the British student that apparently resulted in her death. A third person, 24-year-old Rudy Gaudet, was also convicted of Meredith Kercher's murder in a separate trial. He is still serving 30 years in prison.
Tonight, the families of Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito said that their nightmare had finally come to an end. Daniel Sanford reports now from Perugia.
After spending most of the day in prison, she came back to the court for a nighttime verdict. Her face drained of colour, Amanda Knox knew this was a moment that could change her life. And then came the decision she'd been dreaming of for almost 4 years.
Both the defendants for A, B, C and D are acquitted because they have not committed the crime. Amanda Knox and Raffaele Esposito are being freed.
Sobbing, Amanda Knox was led from court. Minutes later, her sister spoke outside.
At last, we are thankful to the court for having the courage to look for the truth and to overturn this conviction.
The murder victim was Meredith Kercher, a 21-year-old language student from South London. She had been found with her throat slashed several times in her bedroom at the house she shared with Amanda Knox. Knox and her new boyfriend, Raffaele Sollecito, soon fell under suspicion because of their strange behaviour after the murder and because their stories kept changing. The evidence against Amanda Knox began with the lies she told during questioning. Police then discovered what might have been traces of footprints made in blood. Then there were tiny pieces of DNA on a bra clasp and a knife. But at the appeal, the DNA results were deemed unreliable, the footprints were put in doubt, and the lies justified as the result of questioning under pressure without a lawyer. The defence said Rudy Gaudet, who has also been convicted of the murder, acted alone. This morning, Amanda Knox had been given a last opportunity to sway the jury's decision. It was a powerful plea for freedom.
I haven't done what they have suggested I did. I did not kill. I did not rape. I did not steal. I wasn't there. I wasn't present at this crime.
But alongside the legal action, Amanda Knox's relatives mounted a big PR campaign to free her. Meredith Kercher's family believed that was thoughtless.
I think what everyone needs to remember is the brutality of what actually happened that night, and everything that Meredith must have felt that night, everything she went through, the fear and the terror and not knowing why.
Amanda Knox's family say they now plan to get her back to America as soon as possible and try to help her rebuild her life.
Daniel Sanford there. Well, as much as the defendants, Italian justice appeared to be on trial during this case, and one of Amanda Knox's lawyers, Carlo Della Vedova, says a mistake has been corrected.
In this case, there's no winner. The justice has superseded and they have rectified a mistake. There is a terrible tragedy at the beginning because there's the death of Meredith. Meredith was a friend of Amanda, so we should never forget this and we have to respect the sorrow of all the family. So there's no winner here. The justice has recognized that Amanda was not involved in the murder.
So this was a miscarriage of justice?
This is a mistake, according to our system. We have the possibility, our legislator has foreseen the possibility of mistakes. That's why we have the appeal and we have a third grade, which is compulsory. So unless we have this 3 grades, you cannot consider somebody guilty with a final decision. And this is what has happened today. The Court of Appeal has rectified a mistake of the first judges.
What did Amanda say to you after that decision?
She didn't say anything, but she was so happy. She started to cry. She had a release. She was extremely worried at the beginning. She was scared. She was feeling that today was a very important day, and she was actually on the border of a request of life in jail and a dismissal. So it was a very tense day for her, and she didn't say much. She was just crying, very happy.
You have got quite close to Amanda over the last 4 years. You've had to work very closely with her. What do you make of how she has coped with this whole process?
Amanda is a very intelligent girl. She was very young and very unexperienced at the beginning. So she has matured, and together with my colleague Luciano Girga, we worked with her in order to defend her. So we were able to appreciate the extreme sensible and intense intelligence of Amanda, and we're very happy that we had Amanda as a client.
Was the independent forensics, just one last question, was the independent forensics review, was that the main thing you think in
order to reply to this, we have to wait for the motivation.
Okay.
When we see the motivation, I will be in a position to explain exactly what and how this evidence has been considered by the court.
We're just going to show you some pictures immediately after the trial, after the announcement. The pictures of the Knox family who are in court, heard the announcement from the judge. They're hugging there, obviously.
And while this was going on, of course, was in fact a very hostile reception outside of the court from crowds in Perugia who certainly felt, I think, the legal system was on trial.
Yes, there were cries of embarrassment from the crowd outside, saying that the verdict was an embarrassment to the justice system.
Amanda Knox there with her family and her sister Diana and her best friend, who in fact moved to Perugia to be with Amanda while she was in prison. Her defence said it was a false confession that had been obtained under extreme duress and fatigue. She claimed she was threatened during questioning and physically assaulted, slapped around the head. And her confession, of course, was not recorded. But the crucial thing that seems to have turned this case, the DNA evidence, which was the only hard thing tying her to the case. The defence had independent forensic analysis ordered by the judge, which had found that most of the forensic evidence from the original case was contaminated and unreliable. Just worth mentioning, of course, that in fact she was convicted in this appeal hearing of slandering the police. She was sentenced to 3 years for that, but had already served nearly 4, so was, of course, released.
Now, I think we're going to be able to go live to the prison. This is Capane prison, where Amanda Knox has been held over the last 4 years now.
She's gone back there to Capane to get her belongings. The expectation is that she will leave the country, although the prosecution have made it clear they are now going to the Supreme Court and will be seeking a new hearing to get this appeal quashed. Whether Amanda Knox will come back to Italy, of course, is an open question, whatever that new hearing produces.
However, it's said that she will be catching a flight within possibly even the next few hours back to Seattle in the United States. And as I'm saying, these are the shots. We don't know quite what that car is, but it's, it was expected that Amanda Knox was only going to be at the prison for about another hour, as you said, collecting some of her belongings before she was due to leave. It was thought she would be able to walk free from the court, but actually had to go back very briefly to the prison, part of the Italian procedure.
Do stay with us on BBC World News. Much more to come. All the major international news. Much more on this, of course, and a window into galaxies far, far away. Can this radio telescope unlock the secrets of our universe?